Could this finally be the year we see a healthy Kawhi Leonard and Paul George for an entire season in the Los Angeles Clippers uniforms? Clippers kicking their season off against the Portland Trail Blazers. Boy, did LA look good and healthy in this one. You saw Russell Westbrook find Kawhi in the corner for three. And then how about Paul George going up top to Brody, the former OKC Thunder teammates? Still rocking the blue, just a different shade. Brody throwing it down, and he wasn't done. How about Norman Powell finding Westbrook for three? And then Westbrook again out in transition, this time a recipient of a beautiful behind-the-back pass from Bones Highland. Westbrook goes 11 points, 5 rebounds, and 13 assists. Speaking of assists, the Clippers did a bunch of that in the first half of this one as Paul George goes and one. And then Robert Covington crashing the boards, finding Highland. 21 first half assists for LAC. That is a franchise record. They're up a bunch at the half, third quarter. Previous year's number 3 overall pick, Scoot Henderson, gets his first bucket as a professional. He had 11 in this one, but it wouldn't be anywhere near enough to stop the onslaught from Paul George and Kawhi. Leonard had 23 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. And then how about George attacking the rim? PG-13 had 27 points and 6 assists himself. The Clippers rolled past the Blazers 123-111, and it wasn't that close to get their first win of the season. The Nick Nurse era in Toronto is done. The Darko Rajakovic era begins as the Toronto Raptors kick off their season at home against Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves. How about AE kicking the season off the right way? He scored the first 10 for Minnesota, and then he dimes it up to Rudy Gobert for the and one. T-Wolves up by 6. Other end we go. How about Pascal Siakam finding Precious Achiuwa for the old alley-oop? Other end, it's Karl Anthony Towns. Remember me? Cat with the and one. OG Anunoby is going to accept the screen from Precious and nail the 3. And just like that, midway through the second, it's the Raptors with the lead. Raptors did some signing this offseason to replace Fred VanVleet. They signed Dennis Schroeder. He nailed the 3 at 22 points and 7 assists. As AE goes glass, we got a tight one here as we took a break. Third quarter, Siakam with the beautiful move and finish. And then Schroeder is on the same type of time as Siakam. We got a tight one here. Scotty Barnes making his presence known with the grown man deuce. The Raptors go up by 7, but here comes Minnesota. It's Edwards, 3 of his 26 points and 14 rebounds. Then Naz Reid gets the Cat miss, gets it back to Cat, and Towns finishes. He had 19 points, 10 rebounds. Check out the defense leading the offense. Siakam nailing the 3 to put the Raptors up by 6. He had 15.7 rebounds, 6 assists. And then the closing seconds, how about Scotty waiting on Minnesota? 17, 8, 5, and 5 blocks for Scotty. The Raptors win by 3. Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks kicked their season off in the South, but it's not Atlanta. They were a part of Brandon Miller's debut. The number 2 overall pick got his Hornets ready to go because out the gate he was ready to go. That is Miller's first bucket as a professional. On the other end, the steal and the dunk by Jalen Johnson. He looks like an absolute stud. Was good last season, showed some signs like he's going to be better this year. It's plays like this as Trae Young goes off the glass. Now, they got to get that timing right because Jalen can fly. He catches it and throws it down. Johnson had 21 points and 7 rebounds for Atlanta. Third quarter, LaMelo Ball started this game off 0 for 10. He would start to find his game. Remember, LaMelo's coming off of a serious injury last year. He had 15 points, 10 assists in this one. It's PJ Washington with the throwdown. He had 25 points and the Hornets are up by 6. We're tied at 88 in the fourth. Sadiq Bey with the grown man juice plucks the foul. And then it's Gordon Hayward finding, guess who? Brandon Miller. The three-pointer by the young fella is down. And then Moore moves from Washington inside the spin and the score. Atlanta's down 6 with 45 seconds to go. How about Ice Trey? 3 of his 23 points. Also had 9 assists. But it's scary hours in Charlotte as Rozier helps put this one away for his Hornets. Game 1 goes to Charlotte as they take care of business 116 to 110 over Atlanta. Money Williams got a new team and a larger paycheck. Let's not forget he signed with the Detroit Pistons this past offseason. Detroit was in Miami to take on your reigning Eastern Conference champion Heat. No Damian Lillard, but you still got Jimmy Butler. He goes and 1. And you also still got the big fella, Bam Adebayo, who is running the fast break and throwing it down. He is way too big to be that quick and that darn good. Miami's up by 4. Second quarter, Duncan Robinson. One of those names mentioned in a lot of that trade talk this offseason. Still in Miami, still getting it done. Other end we go. The number 5 pick in last year's draft, Asur Thompson, with his first bucket as a professional. And then the former number 1 overall pick, Cade Cunningham, who pretty much missed most of last year. Had a game in this one. He gets the bucket to go. But it's Miami up by 11 at the half after that Kevin Love 3. Third quarter, Bam, making plays for himself and others. He finds Tyler Hero for 3. And then how about Adebayo inside, showing you what that grind can do. 22 and 8 for Bam. And then he got some help from Butler, who had 19 points and 13 rebounds to kick off the season. Miami is up by 16, but Detroit is not out because Cade said so. Cade with the score, and then Cade with the steal and the lob up to Jalen Duren. What up, Memphis? Duren had 17 points and 14 rebounds, and then Cade is going to nail a 3 under 2 minutes to go. We got a 1-point game in Miami. The Pistons would actually get a chance at the buzzer. It's Cade. He had 30, needed 33. This three-pointer is no good at the buzzer, and the Miami Heat kick off their season with a dub by the thinnest of hairs. 103-102 is your final from South Beach. DeMar DeRozan and the Chicago Bulls ready to go to war with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and all of those fantastic fits that he's got. He also brought the rest of the Oklahoma City Thunder as well, by the way, to Chicago to get it on to kick off this season. You saw Chet Holmgren with his first points as a professional. SGA scored a bunch of points in his career thus far. That's another deuce. And another end, it's DeMar DeRozan. He had 20 points. How about the steal from Andre Drummond? And he's going to humble the rookie. How about Drummond with the crossover on Chet? Welcome to the league, Holmgren. It's Drummond with the crossover and score. Thunder wasn't happy about that, as you see Josh Giddey go and get him a bucket. He had 16, 6, and 6. And then there's Holmgren lighting it up from beyond New York. He had 11 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists in his debut. Third quarter, Kobe White's going to look and find Levine in the corner for 3 of his 16 points. 1-point game in favor of OKC. How about Josh Giddey looking and finding Jalen Williams, who goes reverse, reverse. Doubles the lead. Thunder up by 4. Jalen Williams also had 16 points. SGA had more than 16, pretty much double that. Look at this nasty finish at the rim from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. A lot of people believe he might lead the league in scoring this year. A lot of people believe this Thunder team is legit already, in large part due to this dude. SGA taking over. He goes 12 of 18 from the field, 31 points, 10 assists. That's how you kick off the season. That caption on Instagram gonna be fire after this one. I can see it now. I was in the Windy City but I brought my game with me. It was the flu, sicko. I don't know. Thunder win by 20. Yeah, apparently after this game, the Chicago Bulls called a team meeting. This is according to their head coach, Billy Donovan. I don't think I've ever heard of that one. I'm not saying it hasn't happened. I'm just saying I have never heard of a team calling a team meeting after game one of the season. And they didn't look that bad until like the end of the third quarter, fourth quarter, when SGA took over. Clearly, this Chicago Bulls team sensed something wrong. Let's be clear. Nikola Vucevic is on the record of saying, let's be real about things. This is probably the last year of this team being together in this iteration. So Chicago understands the pressure is on. According to Billy Donovan, Chicago, apparently the players were talking, and they asked the coaches to leave. If I'm Billy Donovan, I'm going to be honest with you, that's probably not a good sign. If we're pertaining to his job, that's probably not a good sign that they asked him to leave the meeting, players only. It got me to thinking, though, as we're still pretty much just one game in the season for everybody, what's my overreaction moment thus far? Which team, to me, has looked the worst of everybody that got, some action going? And so far, what did I think after game one? My pick is not the Chicago Bulls, although the way they got defeated by the Thunder's not great, especially on their home court. I'm going to roll with the Houston Rockets. You bring in Ime Udoka with everything that surrounded his name following that tumultuous end to his run as the Boston Celtics head coach. You spend some money on some free agents, and not only did you spend money on free agents, you signed guys that, if we're being honest, most likely will be untradeable contracts by the end of those bad boys. Fred VanVleet making a lot of money. He's an undersized guard. I mean, if a team wants a guard, they're probably going to go to the draft versus paying him what he'll be owed after signing that big deal in Houston. And then you obviously look at the Dylan Brooks contract, which he actually wasn't bad in game one of the season for the Rockets, but they did lose by 30 to the Orlando Magic. Orlando's a young team that's got to work out a lot of kinks. The fact that Houston lost by that much, again, we're overreacting here. Houston's got a lot of new pieces. As a Rockets fan, if I were one, I would be a little concerned. You had the opportunity to bring back James Harden reportedly to Houston. He wants to be at Houston any doorway. It's where he's at, kicking it and partying at any doorway. James has never had a problem beating the Orlando Magic. He always pretty much has beat them by his darn self, no matter what team he was on and no matter what talent he had around him. If I am Houston and I realized we had an opportunity to go bring in a James, and I probably didn't have to pay the amount of money that I did for VanVleet and Brooks combined just to bring in James, I would definitely be squinching my eyes a little bit in the building. Again, we're overreacting after game one. Obviously, I understand you want the future to be about Amin Thompson, and then obviously you want the future to be about other young guys like Cam Whitmore, who seems to be promising. You got Jalen Green in the building. One of my favorite bigs in the league, Alperen Sengun, is a special one. So, again, we're overreacting, but with the amount of talent that the Rockets got, I would be looking like, yo, man, we couldn't beat the Magic game one. If you look at those rosters, there is a talent disparity in favor of, in favor of Houston. And not to mention this piece to the puzzle, the Rockets thought they had a good chance to get their hands on Paolo Banchero. Let's not forget about that piece to the puzzle. He ends up going to the Magic, who last minute pulled the plug on what we thought to be was a shoo-in that they were going to go with somebody else, right? They end up at the last minute going all in on Banchero, and now it's kind of like, okay, we thought the Magic were going to draft Jabari Smith Jr., but they go Banchero last minute. And, I like Jabari. I think he's in for a bounce-back season, but time will tell. Y'all let me know if we're overreacting thus far this season. What team looked the worst to you after one game? I'm out.
I want to salute you, homie, for building your own thing and doing your own thing.
Why build theirs when I believe I can build my own?
You've already done it, or I wouldn't be here.
I'm already the only elite sports and music journalist in the game today. My goal is simple: to be the best there's ever been. So please don't go. Make sure you subscribe and follow the journey. It truly means everything to me. I tell stories. I talk music. I cover sports. I am culture. I am FERRO.